using R4 over here. For more detail of FHIR, you can go over there and read about this. Okay, so it is just a format. Now the R4 format is look like this. Okay, so given record, whatever record we get here, now we need to convert it first into a standard format. So the next function is to convert the given data into a standard format, that is FHIR format. So it creates, as I told you, it is a create key value pair. So the key value pair is dictionary. Okay, the data structure is called dictionary. So first we required, as per R4 version of FHIR, first we required resource type, then we required the ID, then we required a subject, then we required a performer, that is here the subject is the patient, so here please, I have already told you, here the patient is not called patient, here patient is called as subject. Okay, so please remember this. So performers, here performer means either doctor or the hospital or the institution which we actually keep the data. Then which is your timestamp, that is where when you conduct this particular blood test or any outpatient you have observed or you have checked that patient, so that date will be keep over here. Then value quantity, that is the complete data like age, BMI and weight, something, that data will come over here. And then the version, which version, this is the first, second, third, fourth, means each time he came, the patient came, the data get updated. So that's why we keep the version ID and last updated timestamp. Is it clear? So this is FHIR format. हम कैसे रख रहे थे पहले, ये ऐसा होगा, ठीक है? So this record and this record is, if you see, it is completely different. So now this is a standard format we can use. So again the receiver get one.
Sir,
Yes.
सर जो डेटा हम स्टैंडर्ड फॉर्मेट में बना रहे हैं उसका कुछ बेस है क्या, मतलब विद रिस्पेक्ट टू व्हाट ऑन द बेसिस
It is given.
Rules and regulations of
Yes,
the government.
it is FHIR is a given by US government. It is a regulating authority.
तो हम इंडिया वाले भी यूज करते हैं.
All world use can use. It is accepted by WHO. So it is accepted by all over the world. Okay, there are different format. If you want to do the consent, there is a HIPAA. There is if you want to do the AIML, there is a FDA. So in morning we have discussed about that. So there is a standard. So if you follow that, no one will stop you that creating synthetic data and doing logic, because the data is not available. After, I think so, when this World War III scenario ends, then the data will available everywhere.
So government rules are different in different countries. Like our India has only policies are there which are used by patients, and in US government takes the responsibilities of health all over.
That is the reason in India there is the data is not available, and that's why the statistics I have shared. So there are 6,000 plus hospitals are there who maintain the data, but 89% data is not available at all, or it is inaccessible. Okay, if you see that, you will get your blood report. Okay, again go after 1 month, ask this is my blood report, I want soft copy of that. Whether you get or not, tell me. This is, next is called smart contract. Okay, here we have to make a consent record and self log. So this second, the first class is for record, second class we want a smart contract. So here we keep that consent record and access log. Second, to whom you want to give the access, for that this function will work. Here we have the patient ID, provider ID, data type, grant, at what time, expiry date and active, true or false. By default, once you give, so it has an expiry date, so it is active. Once the expiry date will come, it will automatically get expired. So you know, don't worry about that. to whom user I have grant access, which I want to revoke. So it will do the automatic. Okay. Yeah.
अभी हम लोग जो ये सेंट्रलाइज्ड मतलब डिसेंट्रलाइज्ड बना रहे हैं, तो ऑल ओवर ऑल पेशेंट्स का डेटा कोई भी देख सकता है, मतलब पूरे वर्ल्ड में वो स्टोर होगा। तो अगर कोई एक्सपायर हो जाता है तो वो डेटा ऑटोमेटिकली
आ जाएगा, उसका आधार कार्ड ऑटोमेटिकली चला जाएगा, और हमारे जो विरोधी पक्ष के नेता है वो नहीं चलेगा, तो हमारे It's just a joke. Actually, the case is that to make that level, you required a standardization in the world. Okay. In serious context, it cannot be happened right now. It never happened actually, because there are many consent you have to take. If that patient has not given you consent, how you make the updation? You cannot. So first, that is the first, you have to create a mindset of people that you have to give the consent, it is for you. And until and unless the education will not spread amongst the people. In our country itself, we are not talking about the whole world. If we talk that, and I ask, ma'am, please share your data. Not your health, just share your data. Whether to share the data with me, that is the answer. So that is the problem. Our first problem is not with government. The first problem is the mindset of patient and mindset of people, which we have to by education, by thing. If you see that in previous era, when we are at our childhood, we didn't see each other's photo of childhood. Nowadays, each person, those who are a student, they know their child photo as well as their middle-aged photo. Every photo they have with them through the social media. Okay, nowadays there is a consent. Previously, if you see that Facebook have no consent about your profile picture. I can take your profile picture and I can do the deep fake. But nowadays there is a consent over there also. They have used the social media ledgers over there, who use your photo, who download your photo, this came in a blockchain. So even WhatsApp is keeping your messages in a blockchain, in a cryptographic format. So that is the, even they have advertised nowadays in India. Okay, so we are that much sensitive about the data. Okay, so this is done, the grant consent over here. Then you can verify the access. This is just an example code. You have to implement your own. Okay, you can change. It is just a structure of code. You can actually do it whatever you want with this code, and you can implement it. So this is ultimately a log. You can do patient ID, provide data type, access time and status. So whenever anyone access your data, that is log. Okay, and it is kept in this log access attempt. Now next class is called health log. Now we created the record of patient. We have created the contract. Now we create the health log. So which keeps your index, timestamp, transaction, previous hash and hash calculation. So this is the hash calculation, at what time you have generated this. Then mine that block with a difficulty level. Here we said the difficulty is 4. Nothing. It is a simple proof of work mining simulation. So whatever you do, it is stored over there. So this next class is for your healthcare blockchain. Whatever we hash we have created, we will create the genesis block, that is the root block of for that. Then we add the health record in that blockchain. So whatever transaction we done, it came over here. Then we mine the pending transaction, that is if there is a updation in your data, it will do that transaction. Then it will print, just a print over there. It is handled. 1 minute. The next is called get patient record. So we get the get patient record over there. It is with you also. So you can see that. Then there is a validate chain. So we validate the chain as a next. And then lastly is our demonstrate the blockchain. So just a minute.
the basis of hash.
Yes. Yes, yes. Running. Yeah. Okay. So this is the demonstration over here. So here we create this our blockchain first. We create the healthcare blockchain, call that function which we created. It is a constructor for that particular class. Then we create for patient 1, that is, this is a patient ID, hospital ID, and then observation or condition and the expiration date. So this is a consent of a patient grant to the hospital A. Then hospital A adds this particular patient who grant the consent. So this will stored. Then as soon as the consent is given by your patient, then the hospital A adds that patient observation record in your blockchain. So here in blockchain, add health record, that is observation, and stored by hospital A, and will say that this is a successful. Then we'll mine the transaction. So here we create a block over here. We just create. Now we need to mine it. So this is done by blockchain.mine pending transaction. So here we done the transaction, but it is not stored in a blockchain. Here we done that. Then we attempt to access another hospital. Now hospital B requests a patient record. Now that whatever it is, just I am showing just for one patient. One patient has given me a consent. One hospital stored it. Now he or she went to hospital B for another checkup. But we want the previous record of that patient. So what we do, we ask hospital A that he told me that I regularly go to hospital A. So I ask hospital A about the history of that patient. So now I am the hospital B, request the patient record. So what it do, the first blockchain.get patient record. So we'll put the patient ID and who is requesting it. And then record is accessible to patient. So this is grant to that hospital B. Now this consent to hospital B is patient grant the consent. Now it is just a request. Now hospital given the consent, but patient has not given the consent. Now again we ask the patient that hospital B is wanting your record. So then patient will give the consent, and now hospital B is now trying to access that. So now record is now accessible. Once the record get expired, once it is expired, it will stop. So this is how, if you run this, you can see the same thing. The patient grant the consent to hospital A for observation and condition. Hospital A adds the patient observation record. It is true. Then we next mine the pending transaction. So whatever the consent and whatever the record we have generated in step 1 and 2, we will mine our block 1 over here. After that, it is stored in our blockchain with this hexadecimal value. Now the record is as per our computer, usko ye pata. So this is stored over there. Now if you want to access that, computer ko ye pata hoga. ठीक है. Now hospital B requests this. So access is denied for record type observation. So record B accessible, hospital B is currently 0. अभी वो access नहीं कर पा रहा है क्योंकि उसको access ही नहीं था. So now he wants, or first he requests to hospital A to give me the access. So then it give the grant consent to hospital B. Now hospital B is having access of one record only, and this is the format of that record. Source type, ID, subject, reference, performer, effective date, value, metadata of that, and when it is last updated. Okay, so it is just in the morning, it is just updated right now. Okay, so then this is blockchain having the length of 2 blocks. So this is that. So if you want to initialize your blockchain, this is how you can do. So it is given. ये इसलिए दिया है, ये जो नीचे कोड है, it is given for you for adding a different or number of patients. Okay, so this is separately. Okay, so thank you very much. That's it from my side. If you have, actually I have one more thing with me. There is a hands-on workshop but it is not the time. If possible, I will show you this in the evening 4:30. Okay, thank you very much. If you have any question, you can ask. Otherwise, we'll move for the next paper demonstration. Is that?
कारण काही query असेल तरी
हा, ठीक आहे. मला वाटलं तुम्ही आले.
Participant, is there any query? No? So everything is okay in that case. So on behalf of SVKM IoT Dhule, Computer Department of Engineering, I am very thankful for the resource person sharing his expertise in the domain and giving you real-time examples and scenario on the blockchain technology. Okay. Apart from that, I am also thankful for all the participants for being patient over here and listening the session very effectively. So with this, I am thanking you both of the participant as well as expert. And now I am requesting you all to gather in 205 classroom where we will go in with the another session for the research article discussion, and there I will give some instruction for you what you have to do for that, sir, because there is a